Hey guys, welcome back to the Queen of TV channel. Let's get a few things out first before we head into our intro. Please watch the video to the very end. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. I will be giving my honest opinion about the episode and the show as a whole. And lastly, there's a lot going on this episode, so hopefully I can remember everything that happened word from word. So just be patient with me. Let's get into the intro. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. You're either a viewer or you are a subscriber. Either way, welcome. Today, we'll be talking about H2O Season 2, Episode 12, Fish Fever. We start off this episode with the girls swimming, and Emma ends up finding a piece of colorful coral, which she accidentally cuts her finger on. When they get to Cleo's house, Cleo thanks Emma for the piece of coral. Emma saying that, yeah, it was worth getting her finger cut over. The coral matches Hector's eyes. This is Cleo's new fish. She has created a new fish tank just for him. Emma is acting very weird and she is starting to get pale, which means she's getting sick. This piece of coral that she found is actually poisonous. She ends up staring at Hector's food, which we find out is anchovy flavored, his favorite. Um, it's also Emma's favorite when she's moonstruck and sick. Well, Cleo and Ricky leave and they don't see Emma sneak some of Hector's fish food while eating a bunch of it and then putting it back. Emma continues to act very weird the next day. She ends up getting a bunch of cans of sardines when her mom walks up to her to let her know that she is having a surprise dinner for her father for their anniversary, and she even got his favorite lobster, which Emma says is her favorite, and her mom reminds her it's her dad's favorite, and that Elliot's going to be staying over a friend's house, and Emma cuts her off saying that she knows she wants her to stay at Cleo's, and she said that's fine. When Emma's walking away, her mom asks her why she has a can of sardines in her pocket and why she'd be taking it upstairs. Emma says why not. We see Emma open every can of sardines and eats it all while ducking her head in the water. Cleo starts to know that Hector too is acting weird as she sees that he keeps constantly jumping out of his fish tank. She gives him a pinch of his food because she had mentioned earlier she gives him just a pinch so he doesn't eat a whole lot. But he starts eating it like really fast, like he's starving. And he continues to jump out of the tank. She notices that he keeps jumping at the fish food, which creeps her completely out. We see in another scene that Charlotte and Lewis are on a date. Charlotte's not happy about the fact that this date is at the marine park. She thought that when Lewis said they were going on a date, they would go somewhere that was actually romantic. Which, I mean, what is like, that's crazy. We'll talk about that in the review. But they run into Emma, who's acting weird and has an awkward conversation where she's being very strange. Now let's just backtrack because we actually saw Emma still acting strange after Cleo had that run in with Hector, talking really, really fast about staying over Cleo's house. And it doesn't matter where she stays and how they're having an anniversary, and it's creeping Ricky out. And she goes to the back of the cool room where she starts eating the raw fish back there. Wilford tells her to say something for the customers. Emma apologizes and says that she feels like going for a swim. Before he can ask Ricky what's going on, Ricky says not to ask her because she has no idea. And she too leaves. Now let's go back to her, Charlotte, and Lewis. Emma offers them some sardines. Lewis says no. And then Emma, still being weird, says bye. And we see her jump inside of the dolphin tank. Cleo had called Ricky because we see another scene where Ricky is at Cleo's house where she's showing Ricky how Hector is acting. On top of that, Hector starts to have white scales over his body. While that's going on, a little girl spots Emma as a mermaid. and is very shocked by this. She runs to go let her mother know that she has just witnessed a mermaid. While Lewis and Charlotte at the marine park, Charlotte has to go to the bathroom, and Lewis lets her know that she has to be quick about it because they have a schedule. Charlotte is not thrilled to hear that there's a schedule and that Lewis plans on getting on all of the rides. She leaves, but she doesn't hear the little girl shout to her mom that she saw a mermaid. Lewis, however, does, and when he goes down there to check, he sees that it's Emma. He calls Ricky and Cleo, who show up at the marine park, and Cleo decides to stand watch and prevent anybody from going down there while those two, Lewis and Ricky, try to convince Emma to come up to the surface with them. She convinces an older couple to get on a roller coaster and not go down there, which is fucking wild because I'm pretty sure two elderly individuals, especially one that's walking with a cane, um, not a cane. She had a walker. My grandma has like that same walker she got. So it's like, no, don't get on the roller coaster. Which is crazy that Cleo suggested that to the elderly couple. But she ends up running into Charlotte, who asks what she's doing there. And I guess Charlotte forgot that Cleo works there. But Cleo reminds her that she works there, but not on that very day. But she just decides to hang around there. When she asks Charlotte what she's doing, Charlotte, with a smile on her face, says she's on a date with Lewis. And Cleo says that she hopes that's going well. And when Charlotte asks where Lewis is, Cleo says that she doesn't know, that maybe Lewis abandoned her, getting her get back, probably from the previous episode. Really can't blame her, or any episode for that matter, that Charlotte was being very pettily spiteful towards her. Um, Charlotte is about to go down there to the dolphin tank where Lewis and Ricky and Emma are, but she lies to her and tells her that she think that Lewis got on one of the rides. Well, Lewis and Ricky are not having any luck because they can't convince Emma to stay where they at and convince her to go up to the surface with them. And Lori shows up. Luckily, Cleo also shows up and agrees to help Lori with the feeding. Lewis able to take one of the fish to be able to go show it to Emma, which works, and they get it to the surface. They are repulsed by the fact that she eats this raw fish in front of them and saying that they probably gonna need more fish. They're even more repulsed when they see how she's eating a bunch of sardines and are wondering how she could eat all that fish. Emma ends up accidentally turning herself into a mermaid by trying to drink some water from a vase. Emma, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. No, wait, what? What? Granny, what? I don't know who stole my motherfucking charger. I don't know. How am I gonna know? I'm in my room. You was on there last night? Well, Granny, I don't know. I wasn't in your room last night. I only brought Jenny in there and left. Well, I don't know where it is. We're gonna have to ask Fat Daddy or Ray One. Okay, I'm back. What was I talking about? Yeah, at Emma's house. Emma's a mermaid. This is when Cleo notices that Emma has the same white scales that Hector has, and she remembers that Emma had cut her finger on a piece of coral. Her and Lewis get to her house where they see that Hector has gotten worse, and they put Hector in his own water inside of a bag, and they put the coral in a different bag. Cleo asks Lewis if it might be poisonous, and Lewis says that coral can be very strange and that he wouldn't know where to start. So Cleo suggests that they should ask Lori, because Lori is a marine biologist, so he could help them. Lewis gets a call on his phone and it's Charlotte. So Cleo ends up lying to Charlotte, telling her that Lewis had left his phone with her because he got on the water slide and didn't want to get his phone wet, and she hangs up on her. They make it to Marine Park where they're able to convince Lori to help them. While Emma and Ricky are still at Emma's house, and Ricky's trying to dry Emma off, but Emma isn't letting her, so Ricky leaves to go get Emma more fish. Well, after they convince Lori to help, Lewis gets a call from Ricky where Emma had disappeared. Lewis stays behind to help Lori with the antidote, and Cleo goes to look for Emma with Ricky. She ends up running back into Charlotte, who is accusing her of trying to ruin their date. Cleo says no, she is not, and that she has more important things to do, and says goodbye to Charlotte. They try to go find Emma in the water. They can't find her anywhere. They both come back to the marine park and they run back into Charlotte. Charlotte is very upset because before they came back, Lori was able to find the antidote, and Hector will be fine now. And Lewis takes some more of the antidote with him so that way he can give it to Emma. Charlotte ends up calling him, and he lies again about being on one of the being on another one of the rides. Oh my god. Um. So, like I said, Emma is still missing, and Cleo and Ricky come back to Marine Park. They run into Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't want to hear any more excuses. Told Cleo to tell Lewis that she went home. Ricky says anger suits her. They run into Lewis, and Ricky says to Lewis that if he hurries up, he could catch up to her. Lewis thinks she's talking about Emma. She says, no, I'm talking about Charlotte. Lewis said that can wait. He said that he heard where Emma was while they were talking to Charlotte because that little girl came back to the park looking for the mermaid, and she ends up finding Emma. And when Emma grabs her hand, we see that Emma's hand has started turning this nasty, ghoulish gray, and she has scales on her hands, and she really has these long fingernails. Scares the hell out of the little girl. And Lewis tells them that she was at the marina during feeding time because he tries to go catch Emma, but she's already gone. Well, they leave to go find her around the park, and they miss her again because we see her show up back in frame, where this time she has these gills on her neck. Like, she's getting worse. Emma ends up going back home where she sneaks into the house. Her mom thinks it's Neil, her husband. He ends up coming behind her. And while they're having a sweet moment enjoying their anniversary and that they got the house for themselves, Emma ends up stealing the food and cutting the power out. Well, the girls and Lewis get there and they agree to help them see what's going on. They get to Emma's room where they find Emma, who is in dire straits. Like, she has cobwebs all over her tail. It's getting whiter. She has more scales on her body. She looks sick. Her breathing is god awful. She's sounding as if she's trying to gasp for breath. And her eyes, the way that her makeup is now, like, her eyes are getting like darker. Like, she looks like she is dying, literally dying, and trying to gasp for breath at the same time, which scares all three of them. So Ricky and Cleo barricade the door so her dad can't get in, and Lewis sprays Emma with the antidote. It works, and Emma turns back to normal with no memory or recollection of what happened. The next day, Emma says that her parents will probably have another anniversary because, the girls ask about that. But she says that they probably won't let her have no more of that lobster, which is understandable. They see that everything's back to normal. Emma also points out that Lewis and Charlotte are also back to normal because Charlotte is telling Lewis that he owes her another date, and that Lewis said they can go back to Marine Park, but Charlotte said they need to go somewhere romantic, which, yeah, we'll talk about that in the review. She brings the fact that they can go canoeing, and Lewis is like, does that mean he has to paddle and stuff like that? And Cleo says that Hector is way more normal than Charlotte and Lewis' relationship is. And the episode ends there. on a happy note for them, not for Lewis and Charlotte. But let's get into this review. All right, let's talk about it. So I have mentioned this, and we've all known for the longest time that Charlotte really does not care about Lewis's interests. Okay? So the fact that Lewis wanted to do something different, he didn't want to go to the movies, he didn't want to go to the beach, he didn't want to go to the Juice Net Cafe for one of their hangouts or dates. He wanted to go to Marine Park for a date. He wanted to do something romantic. Charlotte is saying that going to Marine Park or just a park in general is not romantic. I beg to differ. There are a lot of couples who decide to go to like the carnivals and the fairs and marine parks and stuff like that for like dates, where the guy or the girl always wins prizes for their significant other. They go on the water slide together. They go on the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel is known as the most romantic thing to go on a date with your other partner. Well, a marine park is the same way. They can get on the ride, they can spend time together. It's not about it having to be romantic where there's flowers and chocolates and drinks and food. Like you can just spend time together. That's what a date is. That's what's so romantic about it. It's the two of you. But this is something that Charlotte does not consider as romantic. So it's a problematic issue for her that Lewis wants to do something that he enjoys and Charlotte does not consider that it's something fun to do. So yeah, we're gonna talk more about that because to talk about that, you gotta talk about all the other times that she suggests that they do things that she wants to do by telling him, hey, let's do this. So obviously, yes, the argument that Lewis had in episode 10 is that the girls need to stop bossing him around. But Charlotte as well be bossing him around. She does it too. So literally all the things that the girls are criticized of doing, Charlotte also does to Lewis. She doesn't care about the things that Lewis likes to do all the time. She apparently bosses him around and only wants to do things that she wants to do, and every time when he has uh something to say, she does not let him talk. Or at least see his point of view of it. So I believe like a lot of the criticism that everybody gives the girls is actually the not a criticism against them. It's like against Charlotte because she's the one that's doing it. While I can see the girls doing the opposite. Like they at least hear him out. And the only criticism they have about the things is that they're not 100% sure if his way actually works. And at least they allow him to offer the help. I mean, we know for a fact that Cleo does not care about watching Lewis fish because she's a mermaid now, but she still lets him do that for their dates. She doesn't tell him the truth until like season 3. She at least is considerate enough to sacrifice what she wants to do for what he wants to do, but Charlotte is not happy about it. And I feel like that's a problem in a relationship. It's like you got to treat each other as equals, you know? Just because you don't like something doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. Because Lewis keeps doing everything that she wants to do. Such a big deal about him wanting to do something? And I understand. I understand. You know, some girls they want to go to the movies. They want flowers. They want to like do like girly shit where they want to sit home and watch chick flicks. They don't want to hang out with their boyfriend and watch the damn football games, or they want to go to the fair, or they want to go, to like a concert or something like that. They want to do like the 1950s bullshit. They want to sit around and have a picnic and, like I said, go to the movies, go to the beach, go to some damn cafe or something with a bunch of people. But I just feel like that's like the boring ass standard of relationships, and that's just what Charlotte likes doing. The boring shit, not the fun stuff. Like I would literally go with him. If it had been me, I'd go to the damn Marine Park. And it's free pass tickets, mind you. They ain't pay for anything. They can go on all the rides. They can have fun like I do it. I consider that a great date. Let's go on all the rides. I ain't getting on the damn roller coaster. I mean, I'll be honest with you on that. But I'll get on everything else as long as I ain't that damn far out the ground into the sky. Shit. But nobody's gonna criticize Charlotte for the things that they criticize the girls for. But I'm the only one that's gonna do it. And I am gonna do it. But what? Shut my door. Hold on. Let me lock my door. Um, so I digress. We'll talk more about that in her video. Now let's talk about the fact that we almost witnessed a death in H2O. If anybody's ever seen Charmed, we constantly see like the Charmers die, and then we see actual deaths of people that's close to them. In this case, in H2O, we damn near saw Emma die. Like this was some poisonous coral. Like she looked and sounded like she was sick. And like everybody around her did not notice it until after they saw that she had a white scales like another fish did. Like if it had not been for Hector acting weird, Cleo and Ricky and Lewis would have not known that Emma was sick. They just thought that she was being weird and didn't know what was actually wrong with her. So it's probably a good thing that Cleo used that piece of coral for her new fish. Because hell, had it not happened, Emma probably wouldn't be here. That's just like crazy to me that they damn near did this. They almost killed Emma. And like everyone in the comments was not like being registered with that. Like everybody was talking about how Cleo was being a savage to what she said to like Charlotte and those elderly people. People were talking about how every time Emma gets sick, she's always eating fish, or when she's moonstruck. How Lewis does not care about Charlotte. How here about Ricky here and there, like stuff that they were saying in the episode, but like nobody thought about the fact that the show literally almost killed off one of the main characters. Like this was serious. But I can understand why no one took it seriously because the episode wasn't serious. But the seriousness was there. It was just hidden within there. So it was like pretty funny. And I like the fact they kind of got their get back at Charlotte, because all this damn manipulation she been doing, all this bossiness, all this controlling that's been going on, it feels great. I told y'all in the last episode that it was gonna be going up from here, like with the everything that was gonna go with this Charlotte situation. Like I said in another episode, I can't remember what episode it was, but I had mentioned that Charlotte was going to end up like getting her karma once she started dating Lewis. This is the karma I was talking about. It started off a little bit in the last episode where Lewis stood up to her, grew up her in my opinion. But in this episode, how she was just stuck chasing after Lewis, trying to figure out where he was for this date and her having that horrible time because he had to help Emma. Like, he literally did what Cleo said. He abandoned her for a whole day and did not care to try to go chase after and find her. So I believe him when he said in that last episode, like, she was not his girlfriend. She was a companion. Because if she was his girlfriend, he would have tried to tell her the truth that Emma got sick. He's worried about her. She got hurt by a poisonous coral. They could have said that, and that what was going on. And he was trying to figure out a way to help her. She may have been mad, but the fact that this girl got poisoned, like, that's serious. There's no way she can sit and be heartless about that shit. And Emma is the only one that hasn't been totally mean towards her fully yet. So it's like, he didn't give a damn about his relationship. But that's all I got for y'all. How do y'all feel about the show, like, almost killing off one of their main characters? Do y'all think that it was wrong of Lewis to sit there and abandon Charlotte the way that he did? Because I don't. But if you do, you feel like he was foul for doing that. And how you feel about how she constantly, like, keeps trying to take it out on Cleo. Cause she tried to accuse Cleo trying to ruin their date. I don't see how this is any of her fault. Like, but you gotta blame the ex for why your relationship isn't as perfect as you wanted it. And what do y'all feel about Emma's parents' anniversary being ruined? I know I saw a comment where somebody said they felt bad for her parents because all they wanted was a nice anniversary. But that's up to y'all. Let me know what y'all think of the whole episode. So without further ado, you guys have a blessed day. You have a wonderful day. And if no one's told you today, I'm telling you, I love you. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.